Oh wow. They're really time to buy advancements again. We're already at level 4 out of 6 for these characters? This progression seems surprisingly fast. Alright, well. For Gobbet, we have Territoriality versus Spiritualist. So Poison Fog, Augment of Poison Fog versus Augment Summon Shrine Spirits. So, Poison Fog, ooh, and now does AP damage on top of HP damage. That actually it would immediately make it more useful, because AP damage is basically my favorite thing, because it makes people not do actions, which is great. Also, she's going to gain a body, a willpower, conjuring, spirit, summoning, SMG power. I'm like, what is that short for? Spirit control. Alright, those are all good things. Shrine Spirits. Shrine Spirits summoned by Goblin are now present for an additional turn before dispelling themselves. I definitely want the Poison Fog out of those two, I think. Alright, Isabelle. We have Augment the Mini Launcher versus Boost Program. Alright. So Mini Launcher, her Mini Launcher is now packed with napalm charges, igniting damaged targets. Targets on fire will take an additional 6 HP damage. Okay. Versus Isabelle gains a dual routine boost program which increases persona speed while sneaking in the Matrix by 40%. Does not stack with other boost programs. Let's see. Here's the funny thing, is when I got this Tar Blaster ability that makes her more versatile in the Matrix, I don't think I knew at the time that this was even a Matrix ability, because like that wasn't, like, I don't think that was even clear to me at the time that I was specifically getting something that only that's for her her other self and not for combat. So at the time I thought I was just getting an ability to root people in general. So the alternative was the mini launcher, which was an actual combat one. Whoopsie. Let's see. Bonus sneaking speed in the Matrix. That could be really handy, having a 40% boost versus doing more damage. Let's see. I'm gonna focus on her primary ability. That's what that's what I have her around for, is for the hacking. Whereas the launcher sometimes has limited use. Duncan, Nail Grenade, a new item, or a new item, modded flashbang. The Nail Grenade will, let's see, Duncan's standard equipment now includes a lethal shrapnel-filled grenade, base damage 12, ongoing damage 4 damage for 2 rounds, strips 1 armor, versus new larger AoE on the flashbang that does 1 more tile in all directions for its stun. I don't know, having the sheer... I think I'm gonna go with the damage boost, because that's base damage 12, reduced armor, and it does 8 extra damage over time for a fair bonus of damage, as opposed to just getting 1 more square for the crowd control. I don't know. I guess both kind of really depend on people being crowded together. But I don't feel like getting 1 more square of AoE would really save me in that many of the situations we've had, because since everyone has guns, the enemies are often too spread out for that to be that big of a difference. Let's see, Red Samurai guy. I can do coup de grace. Plus 100 damage, but it can only be used against stunned targets. So basically, wow, that's a lot of damage too. So if I stun someone, I basically can just execute them. It's the naughty version of what Duncan does. Other one is Ghoul. Gaichu takes a bite out of his foe, restoring hit points and gaining 1 strength through the consumption of flesh. It's not a ton of healing. It's some healing, which is not bad, but I think I really do like the ability to straight up execute someone. That means that between Duncan and Gaichu, whenever I stun people, I could just be removing them from the fight right away, one way or another. More modifications for our bot. I can do overclock and repair. So overclock gives my drone... Ooh. It gives it plus 2 AP and plus 2 movement for 1 round, instead of the 1 AP. And this one, repair... Oh. Reduce cooldown on the repair ability. These are both pretty tempting. But I think being able to having 2 extra actions is actually a pretty big deal, so I'm gonna go with that one. Confirm. That's everyone's new skills spent, right? Alright. You can get mad at me in the comments. It happens. Let's get back on the ship for our reward hub. You enter the trawler to find your crew gathered together waiting for you. Isabel has her head buried in her PDA. The rest of the team stand watching her, trying to be patient. What's going on? Oops. Did someone call the crew meeting? I told you guys I'm the one who gets to call crew meetings. This is apparently what I said on accident. Iz has been doing her homework on Josephine Sang and Sang Mechanical Services. The dwarf paces up and back, trying to decide how to begin. Spill it. Okay. Smoke 'em if you got 'em, because there's a lot to go over. Isabel lifts her PDA to her face and consults her notes. In 2011, Sang Mechanical Services was a D-level core floundering in the shallow end of the Hong Kong corporate pool. That's when Josephine Shui married into the family. Josephine thought big. She conceived a massive project that would catapult TMS into the big time. Something she called the Prosperity Project. Prosperity. That's what Raymond was mumbling about. What is the Prosperity Project? Once upon a time in the 1900s, the walled city was a densely populated slum, something like 30,000 people crammed into 6.5 acres. Wait, I've heard the story before. It's a shithole, hell on earth, yada yada yada. That's today's walled city. The second walled city. The first walled city started life well over 100 years ago and lasted through both world wars and almost through the Awakening. It was torn down in 1994 when the government had finally had enough. It had become such a haven for criminals that the cops would only enter it in large, well-armed groups. Sounds familiar. In 2021, Josephine Sang proposed a vision of a new type of low-income housing project, the Prosperity Project, a self-contained, low-cost walking neighborhood for the poor, but on a grand scale. The Prosperity Project would give Hong Kong's poor and the flood of refugees pouring onto the country a place that they can call their own, something that felt more permanent than the sprawling tent city that spontaneously sprung up after the first walled city was demolished. The Prosperity Project would replace the tent city that would be symbolically built on the site of the old walled city. The slogan was, "A place of dignity where prosperity begins." The apartments weren't much bigger than the space you'd get in your average coffin motel, but they were built in plazas and marketplaces that contained goods and services catering to the poor. The government forgot the lessons of the last walled city. They loved the idea of containing the refugees and the poor to only a few densely populated blocks. It kept them out of the public eye. Securing the contract catapulted Sang Mechanical Services' fortunes ahead. It eventually puts Josephine Sang on the executive council. That doesn't line up. How'd she get so powerful by building a slum? It's a very big slum. Apparently, that was also the beginning of a series of lucrative building contracts that propelled TMS into the big time. Where's Raymond come into all this? Raymond Black doesn't come into it at all, but Edward Sang does. Josephine's husband or son? Son. Raymond Black was actually Edward Sang, the only son of Josephine Sang and her last husband, and her late husband, Breakwater Sang. Edward was in charge of laying the groundwork for the walled city, evacuation and utilities, running in the power lines, sewage, that kind of thing. So our secret foster grandmother is trying to kill us. It looks that way. Yeah. Rector chuckles softly to himself. Wait, this doesn't make any sense. Remember that massive gray water leak that flooded the basement back in 1848? Yeah, remember what happened to Mrs. Melanie? You mean her feet? Wu winces and lets out a grunt of disgust. They swelled to like 3 times their normal size, yeah. Thanks for bringing back that memory. He sobers. But think about it. Did Raymond have any idea how to fix it? No. Ray didn't know the first thing about sewer lines. He had hired a small army of plumbers, probably paid him double what the job was worth to fix the thing, and it still took almost 2 months to get the leak under control. And Josephine put him in charge of utilities. No wonder the walled city smells like that. I don't think Raymond had anything to do with the utilities in the walled city. So if this man was not in charge of the utilities for the project, what would he be doing down there? I don't know. But Edward Sang disappeared from the public eye shortly after Prosperity was completed, around 2031. That's around the time he moved to Seattle. Around 7 years before he found us. But what happened to the walled city? And that would make Raymond Black want to go back to... And what would make Raymond Black want to go back there after all these years? I don't know, but I intend to find out. Oh, we're done? Ooh, more karma. I was just talking about wanting more karma. Well, look at them points I got. Maybe let's see, what do I want to invest in? Also, will you... Is the... Oh, there we go. I'm like, are you gonna open sometime? Dare I just go more into willpower? I do want more charisma. Yeah. I want to get another etiquette. There we go. Shadowrunner etiquette. There we go. Just seemed natural. I've spent time as a Shadowrunner, so now I get to buy the next Shadowrunner etiquette. Start talking from a point of authority in that topic. Next ones will probably go back into more wisdom and chi casting. Alright, let's get a reward before we do anything else. Let's see... Jobs directory. Claim payment. For Mr. Lowe's kidnapping. You submit the job as finished and await your client's response. A few moments later, a message pops up onto the screen. From Kindly Cheng to the handyman. The client is pleased with how you handled the situation. Mr. Lowe has been very contrite and forthcoming, due in no small part to the violence in which you had handled the opposition. You've even earned a little extra for taking out the Talon. Your payment is attached. Yay, extra payment. These are good things. Alright. What was I gonna do? Shadowrun BBS. I might be able to... Let's try to post pay data for sale. Post Shangri-La's guest reservation list. There we go. Another thing we can try to sell. Ooh, did we sell pay data? Claim payment for the experimental Ares research. Ooh, almost 1,000. Not bad. We're making money. We're making money. So how much money do I have now? Ah, I'm back over 2,000 again. You know what? Let's look into that new, getting myself that new armor. This seems like a reasonable thing to do with my character. Because I definitely take hits. So having a significant boost to how much armor I have would probably help me out quite a bit. Hello, Mr. Shen. The area behind Shen's table is even more cluttered than usual. Many of the glass cages have been pulled out of their neatly arranged stacks, lying on the floor of the boat like miniature reptilian landmines. Shen is busy checking each cage, marking the contents on a comlink. Be with you in a second. Just seeing if this order is complete. Ball python, check. Asian needleback, check. Mexican vine snake, check. Indian egg-eating snakes there too, good. Looks like everything's here. Shen nods in satisfaction, placing the comlink down on the table in front of you. Right then, what can I do for you? I thought you didn't sell animals. I don't, especially not the venomous ones. But this is different. I'm brokering a deal between a reptile wholesaler and a friend of mine who needs a lot of snakes for his next trid production. Shen plants a foot atop one cage, smiling broadly. You ever heard of a man by the name of Dr. Shen Yang? Can't say I have. Well, you'll know him when you see him. Greasy little dwarf who's friends with Kindly Cheng. He's a cut-rate trid producer who makes some of the most god-awful films I've ever seen. He's also got some scam or other up his sleeve. His films suck, but his schemes seem to pay out. So these snakes are for his next trid movie. I think he's calling it Martian Snake Witches from the Fourth Reich. It's some terrible science fiction movie about time-traveling wizards from the future. Shrugging, Shen throws both his hands into the air. God knows where he gets the funding for these ideas. They sure as hell don't sell for crap. This one time, he wanted to make a trid show starring me, White Ming, and the rest of our crew. It was going to be about daily life in a triad, but he wanted to make it a sitcom. I don't really know what's so comedic about extortion, racketeering, and assault, but that's his strange little brain for you. Alright, show me what you got. Swords that aren't what I use. Any new fist weapons popping up? It was just the one that was slightly stronger, right? Oh, I can get martial defense. Let's see. Light cover bonus against incoming attacks for 4 rounds, but it's also... I have a negative penalty when it comes to light cover bonuses. Still might want to pick it up just to have the ability. But, ooh, can I get that? I can buy... Oh, Counter-Strike. Question is, do I want that or do I want the ninja set? I think I want the ninja set for that nice 6 armor bonus. A Renraku made infiltration suit with reinforced ballistic protection. I'm probably just curious what I'll look like too. Let's see. The problem with Counter-Strike is that it only works if since I'm physical. It's kind of awkward because I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna Counter-Strike with my physical attack as opposed to, like, I'm not really much of a gun user. I'll buy that over the other option, I think, for now. Alright. Let's deck my character out. What does he look like now? And what abilities do I have? Do I want to swap one of these for Counter-Strike? Physical Adept is a movement skill. Killing Hands is how I get my damage bonus. Mana Fist penetrates to armor. Nerve Strike slows people down and reduces their aim. I already have a stun, so I guess Nerve Strike's a little redundant by comparison, so I'll grab Counter-Strike instead. Because I do have a stun ability for my Shock Glove. Well, in general, I think. Alright. Keep safe, Shen. Okay, I was worried for a second there I wasn't going to get to see ever again, and I was just going to be blind for the rest of my life. What do I look like now? Wow. That's different. That is definitely different. I'm no longer in monk mode. I'm in full combat ninja mode. I didn't see any negative effects for it. Just says I have 6 armor. Okay. Oftentimes when you get, like in D&D, when I get bonus armor I expect a negative effect, but I didn't say that I'd get a negative thing, but this game also has hidden mechanics that you have to just sort of magically know about, or just have experience with Shadowrun, I guess, from outside of this. So maybe I am facing a penalty I don't know about, but god damn if I don't look pretty goddamn awesome right now. Alright, so, back on the ship, let's go find someone to talk to. Our usual between missions routine. I'm curious if I check in on... Oops, not there, that one. If I check in on our tech friend, if he'll have any feedback now. The Aaron Rector's shop is ripe with a stench of old metalworking fluids. He turns to face you, a burning cigarette clenched between his teeth. Sorry about the smell. It's long past time to purge the coolant sump. What? I don't know what that is. He frowns. If I had access to the proper equipment, this would not be a problem. I could clean the fluid and reuse it, but alas, allergen treatment chambers are rather hard to come by, even in a place like Hawi. He shakes his head as if to clear it. Anyway, my friend, you didn't come here to discuss the ins and outs of shop maintenance, I'm sure, so what brings you here? Any thoughts on the last run? A reasonably pleasant outing. We had a nice stroll, took in the night air, went to a gaudy restaurant, and took a man into custody against his will. He takes a drag of his cigarette. As jobs go, I've had worse. Now, what do you have for me? Let's see. Any feedback about your loyalty mission? About the fact that we did it without you? I've been thinking about what we talked about last time, and if I ask a few questions? Be my guest. I have no secrets to keep. Any questions that directly relate to... Let's see. There's a hard limit of the fusion. There's a hard limit to the fusion of man and machine. Doesn't your vision of the future require us to get past that? You're speaking of the essence limit, and the problems associated with essence loss. He releases a plume of smoke from the corner of his mouth. Yes, of course, it will be a problem. But as with all problems, a workaround will present itself. Of this I am certain. Are you basing that on anything, or are you just taking it on faith? He smirks at you. No, my friend, I am not taking it on faith. My beliefs are rooted in my own observations and experiences. For the time being, let us leave the matter to that. Alright, any more questions? So about the drone repair system that you invented, how did that work? There were 3 distinct elements to my approach. When these elements are all working in concert, prototypes that utilize the process displayed remarkable self-repair capabilities. There may be a lengthy explanation. I can skim over it if you please, or I can break it down to you if you're genuinely interested. Give me the bold strokes. I don't need the nuts and bolts, I just want the basics. Yes, fine, I'll give you the short version. The first element of the process was a self-healing biomimetic skin. It was capable of self-repairing any superficial wounds that a drone might suffer, injuries that hadn't damaged the machine's underlying structure. The second element was an internal structure built from self-assembling materials and utilizing redundant systems. Any damage that the skin could not heal could be repaired or replaced. The third and final element was a magical component that served to stave off entropy and render the two systems self-perpetuating. He frowns. You can think of the magic as a lubrication that keeps the gears turning. An unfortunate but necessary concession. And this is the technology that we recovered on the Ares run. Yes, that's right. My thanks to you again, my friend. I am in your eternal debt. Yeah, he's talking about going on the... Now he's thanking me for a run he never told me to go on. And didn't I take the... Is that the research I sold, or is that other research? Man. I kind of broke all of Ractor's storyline, and it's not really my fault. It's just I just happened to go on a mission, and there's just weird... There's like weird gaps in the writing that the developers just don't anticipate you going on that particular mission without him being your party member, I guess, and they just did not write... They did not write stuff that really fits that, so it acknowledges what you did properly. Alright. So what do you think that a post-human future would mean? Freedom. He takes a long drag of his cigarette, sucking the smoke deep into his lungs. When he speaks, it erupts from his mouth in a plume. The ultimate freedom to direct our own progress, and to steer ourselves as a people in whatever direction we wish. Consider, my friend, every aspect of Koschei was tailor-made for a purpose, dreamed up, designed, and built by a singular guiding intellect. You sound awfully proud of yourself. I see no shame in taking pride in my work. Koschei steps forward, the tip of his leg digging into the metal grate that lines the shop floor. I believe that the fruits of my labor speak for themselves. Now, getting back on track, think of the circumstances surrounding your own birth. The building blocks that shaped you into the living being that you are. Your mother and father exchanged fluids, sloppily, no doubt, and with all that mindless abandon that such biological imperatives entail. I don't even want to think about that. He raises both hands in a placating gesture. Just an example, my friend, just an example. Substitute in my parents instead, or any other pairing that you're choosing to imagine, if it makes you more comfortable. The important thing is that the forces that shaped you and me, and the others upstairs, and anyone else you might care to mention, were ultimately mindless ones, blind, manipulative biological drives that led a sperm to an egg to collide. Add in a roll of the dice and a dash of Mendelian genetics, and there you are. Talking about Mendel now, okay. The natural process of evolution and sexual selection guide to the development of our species through trial and error. Throw a few billion darts at the wall and see what sticks. In the future that I foresee, this process will be reined in, guided by our more controlling intellects. To co-opt an antiquated phrase, the myth of intelligent design will become a reality, but we will be our own gods, reshaping ourselves as we see fit. So let me get this straight, you're a scientist, possibly mad, who is literally telling me he wants to play God. How cliched is that? He sighs. Look around you, handyman. Everything about the world that we inhabit bears the stamp of metahuman tampering, from the food that we eat to the homes that we live in to the air we breathe. Playing God is a meaningless term. They've been reshaping our environment since time immemorial. All that I'm advocating is a further refinement of the process. Step back for a moment and imagine a future in which we have fully integrated with machines. Really imagine it. There will be no niche that we cannot fill. We can guide our own evolution, tailor ourselves to whatever environment we see fit. We will no longer be slaves to the selective process that have dictated our development since time immemorial. Let's say that you're right. At what point do we cease being human and become something else instead? Also, I'm not human. I just want to point that out a little bit. The character's clearly not human. He's got like horns and shit. He shrugs. Whenever we choose to define ourselves in that, Whenever we choose to define ourselves in that way, humanity is an intrinsically human concept. If we decide to rebrand ourselves as a different species, that's our decision to make. I strongly suspect that nobody else would care. He's talking to me like I'm human too. It's a little weird. I mean, I'm like 2 feet taller than you, buddy. I don't know how you're mistaking me for a human. There's no we here, buddy. Alright, let's see. Talking about dragons. So tell me, what do you want? What's the end game you envision for us in this grand post-human future? Koschei raises itself on its legs, stretching so that Raptor can caress its chassis. The motion is alarmingly fluid, more like a living thing than a machine. Raptor traces his fingertips over the drone's shell, his eyes focused on an imaginary point in the horizon. We have placed such unnecessary limitations on ourselves, my friend. It fills my heart with sorrow to know that we could be, but are not. To know what we could be, but are not. I would see those limits stripped away, peeled back and discarded for the betterment of all. In the future that I foresee, we will open our eyes to the possibilities that surround us, bodies reshaped to thrive in the deep ocean and the depths of space. Bodies inspired by nature, or the human imagination, or both. Bodies that can be used and shed, and used again, inhabited as the wearers see fit. The timely realization of such a future is what drives us forward. It is the cause to which I have devoted my life, and thankfully it is inevitable. He tips a cigarette, sending ash spilling down to the metal floor, assuming, of course, that we don't destroy ourselves first. Mind if I ask you something else? Not at all. So in this post-human future that you're trying to bring about, what role does a drone like Koschei play? A similar one to the role that he plays now, I imagine. He was designed for a purpose after all. That said, I can see the techniques that went into its design and fabrication having much broader ranging implications. You're pretty attached to that drone of yours, aren't you? You even assigned him a gender. You keep calling him him. Yes, of course. Koschei is very close to me. As if on cue, the drone scuttles forward, the hardened tips of its claws screeching across the metal floor at the shop. It comes up short just in front of you, a strange mechanical chitter rising from deep within its chassis. You might accuse me of anthropomorphizing my little companion, assigning him human characteristics to him where in fact there are none. Truth be told, there is much more to Koschei than meets the eye. But that is a different conversation, one best suited to be held another time. If that's what you want. He nods. It is. I have work to do, and I'm sure that you can find better use for your time than listening to me prattle on. He gestures towards the hatch on the ceiling. And with that, I'm afraid I must ask you to show yourself out. We can continue our talk at a later time. Alright, Raptor. We'll talk later. Good night. Well, they definitely like to shoot me out of these places. God damn, I look like a badass now. Alright, let's pick up a little Shadowland, and then we'll pick up a new mission. There's so much to do all the time. Oh god, this list is long. I'm scared. Typhoon warning, that sounds urgent. The newscast just aired. If anyone wants to watch real-time Isobar data or Earthsat images of the storm, the basic service paywall on Skywatcher imagery is easily circumvented. White Prism. The Imperial Japanese Meteorological Agency today issued an advanced typhoon warning on the northern Philippines and the coast of Guangdong Confederation, as Tropical Storm Yasagi has grown into a full-strength typhoon Category 3 in the Pacific. Typhoon Yasagi has formed late in the year for such a powerful storm. Meteorologists credit its growing trend of awakening cold-season typhoons to global warming and powerful magical vortices in the Eastern Pacific, which appears to help drive moist air convective over cooler ocean waters. The newscaster looks down at her notes. According to the official release by Lance Inroki, goddamn, of IJMA, Yasagi is now identified as an awakened storm. We observed strong lightning activity, electromagnetic anomalies, and extreme concentrations of awakened seabirds along its edges. Awakened storms exhibit anomalous physical and magical behavior. Many experts believe they show reactive intelligence and possibly even self-awareness, and will resist making landfall to prolong their lives, even holding position against prevailing winds. Study of these storms is inhibited by their extreme environmental conditions and astral turbulence. In physical strength, Usagi may peak as a violent typhoon category 5 in the Eastern Pacific scale, but will weaken substantially before making landfall. Especially if it never wants to make landfall because it's apparently self-aware. Although mariner lore is replete with tales of malicious storms, scientists have detected no provable animosity towards metahumans in the behavior of these miracles of nature. Learn more on Wild Storms of the Pacific, this week's episode of Savage Nature with host Bertrand Madonecker. The Guangdong coast will likely have a long precursor battering with drenching rains but moderate winds as Usagi stalls offshore. Usagi is one of the more powerful storms of the season, but it is not unusual. Usagi does not have super typhoon potential. This is going to be perfect. A long soft hit by Usagi. Lots of electromagnetic interference, security and cops all tied up. It's running season. I hope everyone's ready for a high operational tempo. Our fixer's already scrambling for crews. I heart storms. So they're using the storm as a chance to go after everybody. Makes sense. It's a nice good distraction. We're sunk. All of us. Swim. As some of you know, I have a keen interest in urban planning, geophysics, and anything involving our eventual inevitable destruction. Appending is a recent summary on rising sea level in Hong Kong. It expresses the issue well in lay terms. Freedom Cowboy, you complained my post titles are a bit sterile. How's this one? Article mirror, the sinking of Hong Kong. From White Prism in this case. HK Newswire, Hong Kong's watery future, images and external links redacted. The Joint Corporate Development Bureau has released a report on sea level rise in Hong Kong over the next 50 years. Since the year 2000, Hong Kong experienced 9 to 13 meters of water level rise, varying by location. Geologists cite a combination of Antarctic ice melting. It's supposed to be Antarctic? Oh well. And natural sinking of Hong Kong's artificial fill shorefronts, and forced subsidence caused by massive urban construction. Future of the city. Geologists predict a continued rise in water levels over the next 50 years while slowing land subsidence being offset by the accelerating collapse of the Antarctic ice sheet. Yep, they spelled it right that time. Quoting from government geologist Ao Mingxie? Wait, was that name spelled with an I on the last page but no I on this page? Oh well. With up to 15 meters of subsidence expecting over the next half century, a large fraction of current Hong Kong will become submarine. Due to our population and small land base, abandonment of flooded land is no longer practical. Rigorous amphibious retrofitting of the city will need to continue. By 2100, the current coastal buildings will most likely arise from a canal environment. Focus on engineering to protect Hong Kong. Engineering studies indicate the major improvements will be necessary on the coastal seawalls of the Victoria Harbour Shirang Wall, officially the anti-typhoon automated harbor defense jetty. Coastal protections will need to be raised by a half meter per year to counteract the total effect of rising sea level and the worsening severity of super typhoons. The Development Bureau establishes that this may cost 250 billion nuyen over the next 5 decades. Climatic models suggest that by 2100, storm surges impinging on Hong Kong shores may exceed 3 meters in height, and wind-driven waves during severe storms may reach 15 meters. White Prism. So we're gonna be running jobs from gondolas in the next 50 years? That's the message? When one does a simple financial modeling and extrapolates the worsening severity of the frequency of super typhoons along with the geographical outlook, the actual message is that it may be necessary to abandon Hong Kong. WP, I take it back. Oh, White Prism, I take it back. Keep your sterile titles. What's so endearing about you is that you talk about the grimmest things like an accountant. Double entry accrual accounting is an amazing system. If more operators took an interest in it, it would have a much better long-term financial security, as well as be able to interpret and manipulate materials encountered during their work. It's pretty ironic that your handle shortens to WP, normally associated with white phosphorus. Actually, Hatch, it's not. It's really not. White phosphorus is exceptionally useful, not merely because of its hypergolic ignition and the fact that once burned it is chemically immune to water quenching, but also because of its high adhesion and biotoxicity. I don't take pleasure in these qualities, but I appreciate them. God damn, the number of threads is amazing here. So basically Hong Kong sinking, and either is going to become something like Venice, or it'll have to be abandoned. And we definitely have a little... This definitely gives me the vibe of Talos Principle Road to Gehenna, the DLC that I played for that game on this channel, where you just get this whole sub-community of characters talking to each other. Oh man, looking for Decker. Looking for an experienced Decker for a discreet milk run, picking a very special access card off a wage slave, potential for longer-term arrangement. We're a team that's been together for years, running basic heists and the occasional transport gig. We've got a reliable fixer and a long list of happy clients. Requirements. You must not take experimental stims during your runs. You must not tamper with chemicals in secret labs. You must have a good sense of humor. Knock knock. You said good sense of humor, it's a joke, see? At this point, we're actually more interested in hiring an experienced professional with a mature adult's impulse control. We'd have some bad luck with our Deckers lately. The last one had 2 left feet and couldn't seem to stop stumbling into containers full of volatile substances. Poor runs with scissors 2056. Although by looking at her name, I guess we should have known. So basically, you guys are desperate for a Decker. Has anyone else contacted you? We can wait a little longer. Meet me. You guys are starting to get a bad rap, you know. Jinxed. He's just desperately trying to escape at all. Ooh. Thread. Top shelf sublet available immediately. Like the title says, good location, cheap rent, serious offers only please. What do you mean by top shelf? As in a fancy core condo? How'd you manage that? Nah man, it's literally the top shelf of a converted maintenance closet I live in. You're joking. No joke, it's cheap and the location's good. Right near the Temple Street night market, and it has super fast access, just in case you need to get in and out of the Matrix quick. I'm not the sort to ask questions. There's just about enough space to stretch out your legs lying down, and there's a ceiling hook for your gear. What do you say? I don't know, I need a place, but still. A shelf and a shared closet, screw that. I've got a sweet pad to rent that you can have all to yourself. It's not Victoria Peak or anything, but it's a bargain. Where's it at? Kowloon Walled City. It's one of the new construction units on the outer edge. Next page is going to be like, I'll take the closet. I'll throw in a second ceiling hook. Deal? Okay, message me and we'll work out the nitty gritty. Seriously, the Walled City isn't that bad. My apartment is huge. It even has windows. I'll beat Harbor Rat's rent. In fact, just tell me what you want to pay. Hello? No one wants to go to the Walled City. I think this list is somehow getting longer every time I look at it. Alright, let's take a break. Take a brief break from that page. Jobs directory. Right, I have to go to inbox. That's a lot of stuff. Ooh, attending a party. Those are usually fun scenarios. Handyman. I need you to come to the parlor. A friend and business partner of mine named Dr. Shen Yang. Oh, we just heard about them. Has need of your services. Something about attending a fancy party in Repulse Bay. He was unwilling to give me the details. I think he wanted to size you up himself. Okay. Let's go look into that then. So we have to go meet Kindly Cheng's friend. A friend of Cheng is a friend of mine, right? Right? Maybe not? A lot of questionable folk around here. I kinda wish this town didn't have Fog of War. Just because it'd be nice to be able to just look around and locate all the NPCs without having to walk there first. Just give me that concession for the one friendly place, maybe? Alright. You must be Cheng's friend. Dr. Shen Yang, you're a dwarf. I haven't seen a lot of you around besides Isabel. A rotund, balding dwarf in a cheap suit turns to face you. Light glints from the heavy gold chains that hang around his neck. When he speaks, the voice that greets your ears is high and nasal and has been contorted into some rough approximation of a New Yorker's accent. Pleased to meet ya. Sheng was kind enough to arrange this little sit-down between us. He extends a slab-like hand for you to shake. You can call me Dr. Shen Yang. Could just shake his hand, I guess. Shake his hand as the handyman. Alright, yeah. Shake his hand. Pleased to meet you. I'm handyman. His grip is soft as his palm is moist. It's like shaking hands with a boneless ham. Ew. You share a long, uncomfortable, flaccid handshake before he finally releases you. I'm looking for a little outside help on a problem I've been having. Ordinarily, I'd handle it myself with some of my friends, you see, but it's kinda delicate, you know? My guys would notice before the, my guys be noticed before they made any headway on the problem, so I figure, hey, I hire contractors all the time. Might as well hire some, might as well get some contractors from a different stripe. As long as you're paying, I'm in. I run a little just fucking up everything. I run a little film studio, Southern Crown Films. We mostly do Trid work. We could do some Sims too. Maybe you've seen some of my stuff. Space Mongols on the Moon, Flavor of the Pomegranates, Ultimate Kill Squad. Sounds familiar. Lie. Oh, a fan. Good. It's always nice to meet a fellow film enthusiast. Anyway, there's this other guy in the industry. They've been butting heads since day one. Name's Neville Ma, and he runs the Yellow Spring Studios. No matter what I do, I can't shut him out of the business. He always manages to get one over me, steal my stars. It's a tough racket. If you want to stay on top, you gotta use every advantage you can get. Recently, Ma's been running me into the ground with a show called Promises in Moonlight. Oh, Promises in Moonlight. The stars are a girl named Penelope Wong. New talent, but viewers have gotten going nuts over her. She's the linchpin, the ones who hold the whole show together. So you want something to happen to Miss Wong? Hang on, I'm getting there. After 6 months, Neville was out in Guangzhou, for some hoity-toity party. He's on the road, probably drunk. Semi comes out of nowhere, and pow! Wrecks his fancy new Euro car, Westwind. Bad luck for Neville, good luck for me. I figure, hey, that's the end of him for the year, and I start planning the new stuff that he can't compete with from inside the hospital. You follow me so far? Let me guess, he found a way to compete with you from the hospital. No, worse, the bastard is out of the hospital. He's back in the game, bringing out Season 2 of Promises of Moonlight. I need that show off the air, one way or another, and that, my friend, is where you come in. How long did it take for him to recuperate? I tell you, kid, he should have been in that hospital for at least 3 months, and physical therapy a lot longer. Only took him a week to get out. Couldn't freaking believe it. The kind of medical care costs top dollar. He's got a lot of money, but not that much. Recovering time like that means one of two things is going on. Neville could have found himself a silent partner, someone willing to pay top dollar for cutting-edge care. I don't think it's likely, but it could have happened. If it ain't that, smart money says that he's been skimming off the top of Yellow Spring's earnings and not reporting it to his stakeholders. And you want me to look into that, I take it. I need you to get me something to blackmail Neville with. Find out how he can afford to get out of the hospital so fast. He works out in this penthouse most days, so search his computer, closet, sock drawer, whatever. There's gotta be something incriminated in there. Where is this penthouse? Neville lives in the Repulse Bay. It's a real swanky joint, the south end of Hong Kong. Island. By the bay with the same name. Haven't been able to get anybody to poke around in the apartment because the security is too tight. Lucky for you, Neville's throwing a party on the mezzanine level with all the shops and the restaurant and balcony and such. He's celebrating the second season launch of his show, and everybody's gonna be there, gonna make a real snarl to building security. You might want to hit up the party if you can bluff your way in. Everybody close to Neville will be there, and most of them will be 3 sheets to the wind by the time you get there. Some discreet questioning might get me dirt that I need. Just remember, if you go to the party, don't use your real name. Go with Argyle. Should be safe enough. There's nobody in the biz out there with that name, so nobody will ask questions about how your work's going. Couldn't you just make a better show? Hit the apartment, hit the party, dig up blackmail information on Neville Ma. Sounds easy enough. He nods vigorously. Oh yeah, Cheng's talking you up when I approach her with the job. Given what she told me, this job should be cake. Now, the blackmail material is what I need more than anything, but if you can get Penelope Wong out of her contract, I'll pay you extra. Got it? I want that star power on my side. One last thing, I don't want you starting a scene while you're there. You interrupt this party, make a mess, or trash this apartment, I'm not paying you. We clear on that? We're clear. Good. I can't have Ma showing that I'm after him. In my business, everybody's got dirty tricks, but if you make it public that you're using them, Dr. Shenyan drags a finger across his throat. That's it. My career's as dead as the People's Republic of China. Nobody will work for me, or with me ever again. Don't embarrass me, hey? No mess, no guns. Got it. Oh, you can pack heat. Just don't kill anybody at the party or in Ma's apartment. You gotta fight, you find somewhere else to do it. If security gets on you, do what you gotta do. I'd rather explain a few bullet holes than a pile of dead Shadowrunners, got me? Yeah, got it. Good. If you pull this off, I'll recommend you to my friends too. You don't seem like you deal with Shadowrunners much. Shadowrunners, Moonlight Prancers, who gives a crap? I got money and a job, and I don't care who does it as long as the price is right. What's more, I got a lot of friends around town. A lot of them running your circles too. He looks at you, eagerness in his eyes. So we got a deal? You gonna do it? We have a deal. His grin widens. Good man, that's what I like to hear. When you're done, drop Chang a line. I'll come meet you back here and I'll hand over the money. Watch him not have the money. Alright, so we've met his friend. Now it's time to go to the hotel. This sounds like a job to take all of my people with that could deal with this kind of thing. First things come to mind. It's probably going to be Isabel Ractor and yeah, I'm thinking Isabel Ractor and Wu. A drone operator that can go through vents. Isabel can do decking stuff, and Wu is a security expert. So those seem like the obvious people to go through if we're trying to dig up blackmail on someone. Granted, approximately 0 of these quests have ever gone as planned. Travel to Repulse Bay Hotel to dig up information on Neville Ma. We're gonna bring Isabel, Ractor, Duncan. That seems about right to me. Yeah. A rigger, a decker, and a security expert. Confirm. Exit, stage left. You arrive in the eponymously named Repulse Bay, a gleaming hotel and apartment building on the shores of Repulse Bay, Hong Kong Island. Rolling storm clouds choke the sky, lending the structure a sinister appearance. As you push through the doors and into the building, a sudden break in the clouds reveals a sun that's gone red as blood. You make your day onto a ground floor elevator. The attendant pays you no mind. As the car begins to climb, you hear the sounds of merriment drawing closer. As the doors slide open, you find Neville Ma's party in full swing. The elevator disgorges you onto the mezzanine with little fanfare. Off in the distance, you hear the sounds of clicking glasses, carefree laughter, and silverware on china. I'm kinda out of my element here, handyman. I'm not much of a party person. How do you want to handle this? Check the apartment first? We go party first? Or apartment first? Let's say we'll play it by ear. I don't know the scene any better than you do. That's probably the wisest choice. He strokes his chin, and Koshé flexes his articulated limbs in anticipation. Lead on. We will follow. Alright, well I'm in full ninja mode. It's really... I wonder if my costume is the penalty. Does looking like a ninja cause problems for me? So this is the party direction? Doesn't really look like a party. It must look more like a party as I go further in. I assume elevator takes me to... The elevator up top will probably take me to his room? What's back here? Ooh... Isabel be nasty. I'm sure we can find something fun to do in here. Let's just go take a look. Who knows how many things we could potentially open up for us. The Matrix helped... What? Welcome to the Matrix. The Matrix helped slide... will give you the rundown of the features you'll encounter in navigation through cyberspace, including system trait... What the fuck? Close. You're way too late to give me a tutorial on the Matrix, guys. This is my at least my third time in. That would have been useful at the beginning when I was like, what's going on? Because the first time I went in here, I was like, what is happening? So the good news is I'm faster, the bad news is I'm hiccuping. Alright, just gonna sneak around a little bit. Yeah, found it. That was easy. Hey, data core. You can either attempt to hack the IC or force your way past it at the cost of additional system trace. Alright. For more detail on hacking, yeah, I'm fine. Ranking 7. I've hacked before, I can do this, I'm sure. Especially since if I force it, it'll immediately get me ambushed, so that's not great. Alright, I haven't done this in a little bit, let's try to remember how this goes. So, start. There we go. We're doing good. There we go. Ah, it was off in the last one. There we go. Now this little nightmare. So this thing's got to be an arrow like these ones. Ooh, 2 arrows on the end. So 3 in a row, I think. There we go. Over here. W. Yeah, it's this one. There we go. I know your kindergarten puzzle games. I can defeat them. Welcome to the Repulse Base Central Data Hub. Please state query. Search for information on Neville Ma. Ma, Neville, resident, penthouse apartment number 2. Expand query. Apartment door code 1635. Alright, we have our way in. Other records. Events. One event found. Yellow Springs Film. Private party. Mezzanine level. Front desk indicates 6 unclaimed invitations. Download invitation? Yeah. Well, we just found our way into everything. Thanks, Isabel. Other records. Planned hotel expansion. You download a series of files. Ooh, did we just get paid? We did get paid data. Download a series of files detailing expansion plans for the hotel's ground floor. These might be valuable to local construction firms. Maintenance logs. Reams of data flood the screen. Everything's organized by way of reference numbers. It's an incredibly obtuse and confusing system. Without knowing what number to search for, there is little value here. Alright. That wasn't too bad. Did one quick little mini game, and Isabel got us invitations to the party, got us access to his apartment, and got stuff for us to sell later for money. So these are all good for us. Let's go break into this guy's apartment. Take the elevator to the penthouse floor. That was fast. Looking for penthouse 2. Are these fake waterfalls, or are they just spawning into existence as I approach? That might just be the game's engine. Alright, what is your passcode? 1635. You got this. Input code 1635. Alright, getting access to Ma's apartment. It looked like there was a spellcasting / conjuring thing. I didn't actually read it properly because it wasn't something I could do anyway, but I think I could have used the force, Luke, and opened the door. Be really awkward if someone was already in here. Oh, you're empty. Ooh, let's search the suits. I can see my breath. Why is it so cold in here? Rows and rows of finely tailored suits, custom shoes, and various accessories fill the room. So our characters are wondering why it's so cold in here. I bet that's going to come up, isn't it? I fully expect to find out someone's in here. Refrigerator? Oh yeah, this whole room's cold. What's up with that? The fridge is well stocked. There's enough food in here to feed a big party. Let's see. So why is it so cold in here? What if it's teaching us something about what's up with him? The liquor cabinet is full of expensive wines and spirits. Several decanters sit atop it. But one in particular catches your eye, a bottle of brilliantly bright red wine. Don't feel the need to just go drinking stuff from at random from this place. It seems like a bad call. Door? The opposite side of the living room is dominated by a massive security door. It's much heavier than the exterior apartment door, and it looks like a recent addition. The wall has clearly been reinforced to support it. A series of top-of-the-line commercial-grade mag locks holds the doors sealed. It'd be easier to tunnel through the wall than it would be to break them open. Examine the door. A cursory glance at the door frame reveals no sign of a keypad or a jack point, but you do see what appears to be a RFID reader. A 16-digit number has been stenciled into the side of the reader in red ink. This didn't come with the apartment. Why fortify an interior door like this? To keep up appearances, I think. Can you imagine what installing this monstrosity in the hallway would do to the building's aesthetic? People would talk about it. A man like Ma wouldn't want that. Well, one thing's for certain. We aren't getting through there without a key. Most likely that means that we will have to get one from Ma, or one from one of his people. Guess we're gonna have to crash the party after all. Alright. Looks that way. Saddle up, we got a party to attend. Well, that didn't get me in. We need to find the RFID for a security door. Yeah, I see nothing else in here to do. Unless I want to start randomly just chugging all the alcohol that belongs to someone else. And just leaving a lot of incriminating evidence that I've been around. So we're going back to the floor. Let's go into our party with our crazy robot. There's a guest here. A sullen-looking troll stands at the periphery of the kitchen. He turns to you, shoulders slumped forward, and sighs. No restaurant service tonight. Kitchen staff's too busy with the party to serve anyone. Wish I could get into that balcony. He sniffs the air wistfully. All that delicious food. What's so special about this party? Are you kidding? There's tons of Trid stars out there. Man, I'd love to get my picture taken with Derek Ewan or Wing MacLum. They're in Promises Moonlight. You know the show, right? He fidgets shyly. I'm afraid not. His eyes widen excitedly. You need to see it. It's the best show on Tridio. Ever. He leans in, face inches from you. Ever. I'll get right on that. Good luck with the kitchen, buddy. I figured let's avoid lying, because that backfired on us at the convention, where it's like, yeah, I totally know what I'm talking about. Party looks like it's really fancy. Who's throwing it? I don't know, but I could swear I saw Penelope Wong in there. So there's the party. Oh man, I can't read that. I'd love to meet her. She's so glamorous. There's a waiter. Did I talk to the waiter? Let's just go into the party first. We'll start with that. Security guard stands in front of the patio, a bored expression on his face. He looks up at you. He looks you up and down as you approach. Private party, pal. Invitation only. Well, here you go. He takes the invitation and scrutinizes it, then looks at you, reluctance plain on his face. Enjoy the party, sir. Ha ha ha. Hey, more karma. I like experience bonuses. Oh, it's just all on the balcony. This is a small party. Alright. There's a producer over here, and there's Penelope Wong over here. Neville Ma. Let's talk to Wong first. Let's see if I can look into her contract situation a little bit. The glamorous starlet flashes you a standard celebrity smile. Lovely, but emotionless. Good evening, Penelope Wong, but please call me Penny. Pleased to meet you, Penny. Name's Argyle. She lifts her drink and takes a tentative sip. What brings you to our little soiree, Mr. Argyle? I don't believe I've ever seen you in the studio before. Let's see. Let's be careful about our lies here. Just business. I'm surprised Mr. Ma's up and about after so soon after his accident. He nods eagerly. We all are, I must admit. I nearly died of fright when I heard what happened, but look at Neville now. You'd never guess he'd been hurt. It's miraculous, isn't it? Miracles cost a lot of Nuyen these days. Must have been some expensive treatments. You think so? She sips her drink. I've never stayed in a hospital myself. Don't believe the paparazzi either. My nose has never seen a knife. Is it very expensive? To undergo such miraculous treatment, that is? Oh, if we go the right direction here, we could talk about how expensive the treatment is in a way that makes it sound like he's loaded up on a lot of money, which would make her mad about the fact that she's not getting paid enough. Oh, we can work this way. Let's see. I guess they're all technically the same answer practically. Anyway, let me put it this way. Even Neville, with all his money, would be hard pressed to cover the costs. He's probably brought in a new guy in to cushion the bills. Someone new. For a moment she's lost in thought, face twisted in concentration. No, I don't think so, but Neville did make some new friends while he was in Guangzhou. Go on. There was a woman, can't remember her name, who now visits Neville regularly. I hear she's quite the fashionista. This business or personal relationship? Penelope shrugs. They seem to get on well. I'm a little sad he's never introduced us, though. She's supposed to make an appearance tonight. I'm very much looking forward to meeting her. Penelope's gaze drifts over your shoulder for a moment, and she smiles at someone behind you. Oh, please excuse me, that's Mr. Yao. And I promised him I'd say hello tonight. Enjoy the party. Let's see. One last thing before you go, Penny. Do you have a key fob to Neville's security cart door? Really? Just go out of nowhere and be like, hey, do you have a key to his secret door that's inside his apartment? Jesus, that's a mistake. Thank you, Penny. It was a pleasure. Is she gonna walk away now? Why, bye. Well, that gives us a lead. We have a new person to ask about. What about this producer? Is it a mistake to talk to someone that's professional? The partygoer raises an eyebrow at your approach. They're serving century-old cabaret-like punch here. It's hard to believe considering how much a single bottle costs, but it's even harder to believe Mr. Ma's hosting this party, and so soon after his accident. Yeah, I heard about that. Doesn't seem like he's really slowed down much. The man's a machine. He smirks, amused by himself. Not literally, but he might as well be the way that he sprang back from his T-bone at 140 clicks an hour. How's he even standing? I don't know how, but here he is, alive and kicking. Or dining, regaling, what have you. If you ask me, it's all that positive ki the fans stirred up. I heard that there was an entire message boards praying for him and making offerings at the temples. I bet he's just cybernetic or something. Like he's so cybernetic that he's like not even that affected by a crash. The Matrix is nuts for promises in Moonlight. If Ma hasn't negotiated a second season, his fans just as easily have turned on him. Would have just as easily turned on him. If that's all it takes to win immortality, maybe I should become famous too. Isn't that why we're all here? To be famous, become famous, or make someone else famous? He catches the sight of someone across the room. Lisa, over here! Gives you a curt nod. Nice talking to you. Was it nice talking to me? Am I that good of company? So there's Penelope having conversation with that new person. Let's check in on the man of the hour. Neville Ma is dressed in an immaculate suit, surveying his party from the edge of the balcony. As you approach, he inclines his head respectfully. Good evening, Mr. I'm sorry, I don't believe we've been formally introduced. He straightens his wristwatch. I'm Neville Ma, owner of Yellow Spring Studios. Argent? Is my name my fake name is Argyle Argent? Really? That seems problematic. Anyway, the pleasure's all mine, Mr. Ma. Call me Mr. Argent. Thank you so much for hosting this gala. You're very welcome. It's important to show the industry and the press that Promises in Moonlight is doing well, and that we're still a local operation. I hope you're enjoying yourself. I heard about your accident. How did it happen? He sighs. It seems as though that's all anyone wants to hear about these days. To be honest, I'm getting rather tired of repeating the story. Suffice to say, a delivery truck, a drone, a delivery cluck. A delivery cluck. God damn it. Suffice to say, a delivery truck, a drone experienced a glitch and ran a red light. If it hadn't hit me, it would have hit someone else. Did the police discover anything unusual? Not really. Apparently the latest software update to the truck had gotten corrupted, and that was all they found. It was shocking to discover that the delivery company missed that glitch, but I suppose it's a mistake that anyone could have made, and certainly not enough to point to any one person. Oh, Biotech would notice he doesn't have scars. Let's see. I was hoping to talk to you about your security door. God damn, that's not... You can't just come out and say that. You were discharged from the hospital pretty quickly after your accident. Your treatments must have been expensive. Not especially. Guangzhou's hospitals are top tier. Confidently, my rapid recovery... most came down to luck. The accident could have been a lot worse than it was. I owe Eurocar a lot of thanks for their safety features. Thanks for talking to me, Mr. Ma. My pleasure. Please, enjoy the party. That didn't go anywhere. I think Penelope's gonna be my main lead, unless I want to go back to the... Might have to go back to the chef. I don't know what I'm gonna get from this party. Welcome back, Mr. Argyle. To what do I owe the pleasure? Just passing by. Have a wonderful evening, Penny. Alright, all I can do is ask about the door, but you don't want to ask people about the door. That just seems like a mistake. Okay, that's showing your cards too early. It's kind of like when I asked the waiter, the chef to poison someone. Waiter? The ragged waiter manages to straighten up as you approach. Good evening, sir. Welcome to the veranda at the Repulse Bay. How may I be of service? Looks at the guard by the balcony. There's a private party outside. Our establishment provides security for any event that requires it, but don't worry. The balcony will be free again in a few hours. You look exhausted. Why don't you take a break? Not yet. I can't afford to miss any tips. I went to Macau last week, and it wiped me out. Bad luck with the horses, you know. Let's see. Ooh. Today, your luck changes. I'm willing to help you out for some information. The waiter stares at you suspicious, but his desperation gets the better of him. I'm listening. I need access to a penthouse apartment. Name your price. I've got $1 million to spare. No, I already have access to the fucking apartment. I needed the key. Never mind. That was a mistake. Oh, it's you again. What do you need this time? I've got questions about Neville Ma. Heard of him? Certainly. Everyone knows Mr. Ma. Yeah, what kind of guy is he? Between you and me, he's difficult. Which is putting it lightly. Man runs the staff ragged. He jerks his thumb to the direction of veranda. That's his party out there. Richies like him love to display their wealth. Sounds like you have some stories. He lowers his voice. Like you wouldn't believe. He once made a handful of us walk all the way out to Shek-O to fetch dumplings for his guests. It was pouring out, and the wind's blowing around 50 kilometers per hour. Practically a death march in that weather. Why didn't the kitchens here make some dumplings? Ma said the kitchen's dumplings weren't good enough. Called them peasant food, in front of all his guests. Chef King was furious, of course, but since Ma's rich, hotel management told us to give him whatever he wanted. By the time we got back from Shek-O, the dumplings were cold, the party was over, and Ma retired to a suite with a pair of starlets. We had to pay for those dumplings out of our own damn pockets. A couple days later, Kevin came down with pneumonia just from the tip, lost his job over it, just from the trip. And that's just one of our experiences with him. Needless to say, no one's a fan of that man. But we are paid to serve the tenants here, so that's what we do. It's a living. There's a heavy security door in Neville Ma's apartment. You know anything about that? If there's anyone I can talk to, it might be the guy that's really mad at him. The waiter opens his mouth to reply, then pauses. How do you know about that? When were you in Ma's apartment? A few days ago, I left something in there. I need to get it back. We don't want to cause a scene. I mean, we could go bother Ma during his party, but that would look just as bad for you as it would for us. He lowers his voice. Tell you what. Try talking to Chef King in the kitchen. He's got keys to just about every door in this place. On VIP requests, he's expected to personally deliver their meal. It's a status thing. Compliments of the chef, whatever. Poor guy spends as much time delivering food as he does cooking it. Worth a try, thanks. No problem, just, don't mention I sent you, alright? Chef's a vengeful man, and I don't want to get on his bad side. Never mind. Alright, sir, enjoy your day. Alright. That gives us a clear lead. So we're going to want to talk to the cook. We're running a little long though already though, so I think we're going to stop here for now, for the day. So thanks guys for coming by like always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time where we're going to see what we can do to get behind Mr. Ma's big, suspicious locked door while he has his dumb little party and generally treats everyone like garbage. What a great guy.